Okay, I want you to imagine a place, a city hidden away for 1,000 years, deep in the desert canyons of what we now call Jordan, a place that became pure legend. And we're not talking about a few buildings. We're talking about an entire city, not built from the ground up, but sculpted.
Just carved right out of these magnificent rose-red cliffs, temples, tombs, gigantic facades, all emerging from the stone itself.
This, of course, is the story of Petra. And let me tell you, the reality is even more mind-blowing than the legends. So let's get into it, how this impossible city ever came to be.
So who were the absolute geniuses behind this masterpiece? Well, they were a people born from the desert, a group nobody, and I mean nobody, expected would go on to build an empire.
They were called the Nabataeans, and they started out as a nomadic tribe, just wanderers. But they knew the desert inside and out, every oasis, every hidden path, and that knowledge, well, that would become their superpower.
You see, their real genius was in real estate, you could say. They positioned themselves right at the crossroads of the ancient world's most valuable trade routes. We're talking luxury goods, frankincense, myrrh, things that were literally worth their weight in gold back then. Every caravan loaded with this stuff had to go through them, and that made the Nabataeans incredibly, unbelievably rich.
But all the money in the world doesn't help you build a city in the middle of a desert. For that, you have to conquer the elements. You have to become an engineer of the impossible.
I mean, really think about that. This was their big problem. The area barely gets any rain, but when it does, it's not a gentle shower. It's a violent, destructive flash flood. So how do you take that deadly force and turn it into the source of all life?
Now, this map really shows you what they were up against. You see all those narrow canyons, those wadis. When it rained in the mountains, all that water would funnel into these gorges with unbelievable power, enough to just wipe everything away.
And their solution was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They didn't try to stop the water, they decided to guide it. First, they'd capture all that floodwater. Then they'd divert it, using these incredible tunnels and channels they carved into the rock. And finally, they'd store it in hundreds of underground cisterns, safe from the sun, giving them a steady water supply for thousands and thousands of people.
And here's the proof. Just look at this, an actual Nabataean dam, still standing today. It's an amazing testament to their engineering. They took a lethal threat and turned it into the very lifeblood of their capital. They literally created an oasis. So with a secure water source and more money than they knew what to do with, Petra just bloomed. It became this incredible cosmopolitan hub, one of the great cities of the ancient world. At its peak, estimates suggest somewhere between 20 and 30,000 people lived here. Now pause on that for a second. That's a huge population for any ancient city, let alone one literally carved out of a desert canyon.
And it wasn't some isolated kingdom either. We have accounts from people like the Greek geographer Strabo, who wrote around the 1st century AD. He mentioned seeing many foreigners in Petra. This was a global marketplace, a melting pot of cultures.
And can you just imagine what it was like to arrive there? You would have walked through this, the Sick. It's this narrow, winding canyon that goes on for over a kilometer, with cliffs soaring hundreds of feet above you. And then, after that long, shadowy walk, it opens up and bam, there it is, the breathtaking rose-red treasury. What an entrance. It was pure theater, designed to completely overwhelm you.
But you know how these stories go. No golden age lasts forever. For Petra, the fall was slow and then all at once. It's a classic tale of changing fortunes and the raw power of nature.
The first crack in the foundation was political. The Roman Empire was expanding, and its shadow was impossible to ignore. For a while, the Nabataean kingdom was a client state, but by 106 AD, it was all over. Rome just annexed them, and Petra lost its independence.
And here's the other big problem. The world was changing. The Romans, always looking for an edge, started developing new sea routes to the east. All of a sudden, those long, dangerous overland caravan routes that made Petra rich were just obsolete. The city's economic engine just sputtered out. And then came the final blow. It wasn't another empire, it wasn't a war, it was the planet itself. A massive earthquake ripped through the region. It shattered buildings, and even worse, it destroyed their incredible water system. The city was, quite literally, broken.
So, over the next few centuries, Petra just emptied out.
The very location that made it so defensible now made it totally isolated. The city just vanished from Western maps and became a myth, a ghost town guarded by local tribes. That is, until one brave explorer, in disguise, went looking for it.
Right, so fast forward to 1812. A Swiss explorer, John Louis Burckhardt, is traveling in the area disguised as an Arab scholar. He starts hearing these rumors about incredible ruins in a forbidden valley. So he comes up with this clever story. He tells his guide he has to make a sacrifice at a nearby tomb. It was just a trick, a way to get inside. And it worked. His journals brought Petra back into the imagination of the Western world.
So that's the story we all know, right? The brave explorer who rediscovered the lost city. But here's the twist. Was Petra ever really lost?
Okay, now look at this. This is where the story gets really interesting. Researchers have found maps, like this one from way back in 1572, that show European mapmakers knew exactly where Petra was. That's almost 250 years before Burckhardt's famous trip.
So what does lost really mean? The local Bedouin tribes, they never lost it. It was their home. It seems Petra wasn't lost to the world, just forgotten by the West. It survived, hidden by the desert, a silent monument to a people who mastered stone and water. It was never gone. It was just waiting to be remembered.